It's been an interesting weekend, but a good one. This video is probably going to be a little bit disjointed because, well, long story short, I flew down to what was essentially Anaheim, California with a friend. I bought a bus and I drove it back up here. And when I say I bought a bus, I'm not screwing around. We're not talking like a school bus or some sort of airport shuttle or something like that. I got a full-on MCI 102 DL3, which is a 40-foot long, 8.5-foot wide, and 12-foot tall coach. It has about 500 cubic feet of underbody storage, air conditioning, has a wheelchair lift, Detroit Series 60 12.7 liter, which in this particular configuration, because it only has a 4-speed transmission, has 515 horsepower and 1,750 foot-pounds of torque. So it's definitely a monster. Let's go outside and use our golf course whisper voices, and I'll show you around this thing. I've kind of made a point never to film outside of this house, but at this point I've put in my notice and I'm leaving, so who cares? I've got this thing parked out front right now, and it's going to be here for probably a couple of days while I get the hand controls installed. Then it's off to other places where I can work on it. So here's the white van for size reference. Yeah, this thing's not very small. You can't even see the top of it. Look how big the tires are. Yeah. I'll probably wait until it's a little bit darker outside, because right now it's about rush hour and cars and stuff come up and down the street. The way I have it parked, it's technically not in the street. But when the wheelchair lift comes out, it will definitely be in the street. So I'm going to wait till the traffic dies down a little bit. And maybe when people close their curtains, and we'll go back out there again. But right now, I've ordered groceries. And also, because they sell it, I'm getting 10 gallons of Rotella T4 1540 diesel oil delivered with my groceries. Tomorrow morning, I've got a couple of oil filters that I'm going to pick up at a nearby parts shop. And we're going to do an oil change on this thing. I don't know if that's going to be in this video or not. I was hoping to get a video up today, which is Monday, but I get the feeling editing this is going to take some time. So we flew down to California. The plan was just to pick the thing up, drive it back here. I wasn't necessarily going to film it because, well, whatever. It turned out to be a super interesting weekend. It involved flying into John Wayne Airport down in California and then sitting in the plane on the runway for a little over 2 hours because some guy broke into the airfield and stole a vehicle and went running on a rampage. Then he hid in the ceiling of the airport, apparently. That was interesting. I used my manual chair to get down there, which was under the plane. But when you're in the airplane, good luck getting to the bathrooms because they keep the aisle chairs in the airport, not in the airplane. Turns out the plane I was on was big enough so that they did have an emergency aisle chair. So they were able to drag me down the aisle, and a couple flight attendants loaded me onto the toilet in the back of the plane. It's always interesting with a bunch of people staring at you. Yeah, and then we wound up having some transmission issues with this thing on the way back. The guy I got it from is going to help me out with that. It still runs and drives fine. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Things are exciting. Like I said, I've officially given notice and I'm going to be leaving this death trap house. It was funny when we got back last night. It was probably 2 in the morning. Me and my friend walk in the front door. We'll look at each other and it's like, you smell mold? Yeah, I smell mold. It hasn't rained in Portland any meaningful amount for almost 60 days now. And being gone for a couple days and coming back, the mold is that apparent. Guess what's going to happen when it starts raining? Anyways, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to take care of. And yeah, this bus is going to be interesting. It's going to make an interesting series of videos. I'm just kind of jumping head first into this. It's a little bit strange. I have temporarily lived in buses and motorhomes before, but I think we're just going to go for it. I'm excited. And super excited to get out of this place because, yeah, it's slowly trying to kill me, this house is. All right, let's look at some footage.
Folks, a gentle reminder, we're still ascending. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened.
he goes.
They're going to do 120 miles an hour on this tarmac.
Yeah, ever.
Oh, the chopper's following him.
Is he really? That's the guy who did something wrong.
Right. Hijacked a cop. Oh, there's 2 cop cars. Yeah.
Black and whoa, they're going quick.
That's for a mask. That's about right, though.
Cancellation Jones on a flight deck. We're going to start our APU up. We're going to shut down that left engine right now. The best estimate they're giving is maybe 15 to 20 minutes. But other than that, they're just guessing right now. So we're going to conserve some fuel. Thank you.
No way.
We're conserving fuel.
Turning off engine for 15 minutes.
Oh, now they're going back the other way.
No, I have 10 minutes left on my movie. Yeah, we should be able to get some burrito here, huh?
All right, my friends, 15 to 20 minutes is his best educated guess. If you need to use the facility where we're going to use it one at a time, make sure that the orange light isn't on the outside. If you need to use the bathroom, you're more than welcome to do so, but we will not be making any lines to the bathroom, just in case they give us the okay for us to move as well. Thank you.
We just got over the radio that they will give us another update in 1 hour. Right now they're emptying out the whole terminal and they are searching for the person that managed to get through security without being scanned or without a ticket. As soon as I get another update, I will let you know. But they said they will give another update in an hour.
Yeah, so we're on the plane. There's the terminal. And there's choppers and stuff circling around. They said it's going to be a little bit before...
An hour.
Yeah, like an hour. Before they're going to let us up there, maybe.
No, before they update us.
Before they update us, yeah.
Oh, wow. They think the guy's on the tarmac.
That might have made sense, because that one person said someone drove a vehicle into a gate or something.
Yeah, no, they actually think he's not in the gate, in the terminal. They think he's on the tarmac somewhere.
Huh. That would explain all the choppers and
Yeah, there's a...
everyone driving
by the way,
erratically.
The one chopper I thought was a news crew was actually a sheriff's chopper.
Probably the FLIR bubble on the bottom.
Yep. And they're looking for him somewhere on the runway.
Interesting.
Okay.
So someone comes running up to the plane.
Is it right there?
Roll 'em up.
There's no loitering. They want you to go straight through the terminal, go straight to baggage. As soon as you have your bags, leave the terminal. They're still trying to find this person. They don't want anybody left inside. There's no hanging out. Just gotta get your stuff and go.
Promise, no problem.
So does that mean we're going to the terminal now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go find it myself.
Who hangs out in an airport anyways?
So we do need you to return to your seats to put everything away so we can get going right away.
Still waiting another 15 minutes for the next advisory message from the tower. I was just trying to convey that when you get off the plane, you're going to go straight to baggage claim, you're going to get your stuff, and you're going to leave the terminal. If you gate checked anything, those items are going to go straight to baggage claim. I do know somebody has an item that they will need to get off of the plane, and I will
Yes,
make
that's
arrangements
me.
to make sure that happens.
Thank you.
Other than that,
My
there
wheelchair.
will be no bags that will be packed up at the gate. You will have to go to baggage claim to get that. And
was
as
hoping
soon as
you
I have
remembered.
more information about when we're going to be moving, I will advise you on that. Thank you.
Oh, dude.
See, that's what I said. I should wait until we actually move before I send a message.
Y'all are amazing. You rock my face off.
Now we can make the last 100 yards of the trip.
Oh, dude, there's a guy in the jumpsuit.
Yeah, right. Don't do that to me.
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, catch you later.
Dude, we did it.
Yeah,
We'll see you online.
right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be on ABC, right?
Yep, that's that video clip.
That's right. That's right.
Sir, hello.
Hey,
Sorry about the wait there.
yeah.
We're waiting for our actual guys, but I'm guessing you guys probably know more about this than.
Yeah.
Don, I'm just going to go into the galley to reverse out. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to go in forward first, and then
Yep.
we're going to go out backwards. Okay.
You want me to help?
I think you're okay. This one, it's pretty sturdy actually. Are you okay?
Yeah, could someone just try and get the back wheels out and tip it down so I don't
Okay.
like slam down?
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
going to hold it up until
yeah, there we go.
that one good.
Yeah, and then you can pull back. There we go.
That's good. Okay.
Cool.
Nice guy, thanks.
Hey, my chair's here. Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Make sure that was going to get out there.
Appreciate it.
What position is good for you?
Just back me against that wall right there. Yeah. Set down here, I guess. Seems like business as usual in here. Yeah, I guess we just fire it up, and then if you want to just drive us around a little bit and make sure the tranny shifts, I think we're good to go.
Diesel 1 recommended, diesel 2 acceptable. What's the difference? Picking quite the right.
Yeah,
So here's, and then it shifts. So we're holding at 40, 41. So it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out, get a manual for that or something, or figure out what it's supposed to do. Everything I find is the slightly newer ones.
So here's, we're at 45 miles an hour. So again, a lot of this, I know that I can pull a lot of this stuff. Sometimes it just kind of feels like it's
Just not picking the right gear.
not picking like quite the right gear necessarily.
These 60 series Detroits are loud. So I looked to my left and this guy was screwing around with a can of paint, and now he's like mopping the ground with clothes and red house paint.
Here comes the fuzz on the right. Not
Someone wearing a jacket though. Well, roll out. Please allow seniors and persons with disabilities to use this seat. The only one with stairs next to it in the whole bus. All right, well, we slept in this thing last night. We pulled out a few of the seats. Turns out each of these seats, the double things or whatever, they weigh easily over 100 pounds each. There's a lot of unnecessary weight in here, I believe. But yeah, we have one of these now, and look, the ceiling has 90s fabric on it. Yeah. Jimmy's outside fixing the mirror right now. He tried to adjust it last night and it fell off. So we got some Gorilla Tape and we're reattaching it. I think it was put on with hot glue, I'm not sure though. That'll do.
Third gear, I think, can do up to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Or, like 60,
or button 3 or whatever.
62, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, button 3. Shift position 3 can do like 62 miles an hour max. So I wouldn't want to hit that button now.
Yeah.
Since we're doing 65, but I think I'd feel fairly comfortable doing it below 60. You know?
Okay. So apparently I have a bus now. We pulled out some of the seats for sleeping on the floor last night. Turns out these seats are super heavy. They're like over 100 pounds each. And with as many of them are in here, there's like about 2,800 or 3,000 pounds of seats. So, yeah. What's crazy is this Detroit Series 60. It's a 12.7 liter, 6-speed B500 Allison automatic. it can pull hills at 70 something miles an hour, no problem. So when we get these 3,000 pounds of seats out of here, and I put some of my gear in, and you know, like a bathroom and kitchen and all that, I think we're gonna end up probably about the same weight. Yeah. AC works. Got a sweet wheelchair lift. I'll show you that later. But yeah, this is quite the thing. Oh yeah, and there's a little bathroom back there. We'll have to make some modifications on that, but yeah, I think this is a great starting point. By the way, we flew down here to Southern California, and I'm using my manual chair because power chairs on airplanes, yeah. And also, if we need to take an Uber or something, I can just use this thing. This is my old Tylite ZRA, but yeah, it's a bus, and there's a barking dog over there. All right, we stopped in Weed, California for a quick bathroom break for them. I'm just hanging out here while they do that. Diesel's like $5 a gallon here, like $5 even, so we're not gonna get fuel here. This thing holds just shy of 300 gallons. I think it's like 268 or 287 or something, a lot of gallons. We've put 135 gallons in it so far. It was almost empty when we got it. And we started in Anaheim, California, and now we're in Weed. Still don't know the miles per gallon yet. We'd have to fill it completely, drive, and then fill it completely again. And my gas card cuts off at like $200 per fill. And then it triggers a fraud thing. So the most we've been able to get in at a stop is $400 at a time, which is about 86 gallons. Anyways, I say all that to say I don't know the gas mileage. I don't think we're getting 6 because in that distance, we would have been using a lot more fuel, or the gauge would have been moving more. Mostly speculation, but based on the previous buses I've owned and some of them that got 5.5 miles to the gallon, the gas gauge was like, Jerp. But anyways, so probably 7 hours to Portland, something like that. I think we're going to try and load this in to the area in front of my house. If not, there is a backup parking place we can put it in. Yeah, so we got some of the seats removed just for sleeping purposes. Well, it seems to be running good. Yeah, good times. I have a bus. How weird is that? Yeah, and since the axles are so far forward, it's a little different than a school bus.
So right now we're covering up that red line, which means we're at 250.
Okay.
So I now understand how to read this gauge.
All right.
I would bet you that the white mark to the left is 225 and the white mark to the right is 275.
Yeah. Just a weird gauge.
Yeah.
So we got the check transmission light, but we were also holding back one of the gears. I think it might have pegged off the rev limiter. The temperature was going up a little bit, but just checking on stuff. Seems good? Almost. Now we are.
Do you want to...
That was so quick!
We're right near 300. We can pull over and sit, or we can...
Yeah, it looks like there's some people stopped up there. Maybe we can pull over up here a little bit further. There's a manual switch back there to turn on one of the fans, so we added a zip tie to keep it running all the time. And surprise, surprise, the transmission started cooling back down. Excellent. Guess what this fluid is? It's not water.
That's right, let me go. There's like one gallon there.
Okay, so we have approximately $568 worth of TES 295 transmission fluid here, 9 gallons worth. Transmission had a little bit of a hiccup, burned the fluid. Fourth gear may not be too happy, but it does still kind of engage. Anyways, we're swapping out the fluid here. Notice it's the wrong color. It changed that color just today. So, using this vacuum pump here, and we're changing the stuff out. We're about 5 hours from Portland, and then yeah, good times. All right, a little bit of background info here. We noticed right after we got the bus, the night we picked it up, occasionally when we shifted into reverse, it didn't want to engage. And there was some other weirdness with the top gear on it. When we got this thing, I was told it had an Allison B500R, which is a 6-speed bus transmission. Sometimes they lock out 6 gear just because of the gearing and you don't need to drive 100 miles an hour in one of these things. But it's got sort of a engine brake or retarder built into the transmission to help slow you down going down hills and stuff like that. And I say all that to say, all these different transmissions operate at different temperatures depending on conditions. We did notice that the transmission was never below 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which in normal passenger vehicles is a huge red flag. So we've got this gauge on the dash that's reading a temperature, but we don't know where in the system that temperature is being read. Is it in the sump tank or the pan on the transmission? Is it in the input or the output to the cooler? Is it coming out of the torque converter? Is it exiting the retarder or the thing that slows the transmission down on hills? And all of those different areas can range anywhere from 200 to 350 degrees. So it was a challenge trying to figure out everything, but when the check transmission light finally came on, we're like, okay, we're pulling over. It thinks something's wrong. We don't know how to interpret the gauge because we don't know where it's measuring the temperature at, but it knows something's up. Now we actually have confirmation from the computer. So I'm looking up information, trying to figure out the specs and all this stuff for the B500R, and everything seemed to line up with how it was supposed to be. But there's a push-button electronic control panel next to the driver's seat, which shifts gears on the transmission. And I could not find anywhere online or in the service manuals this particular control panel. So we just basically kept driving the thing. We kept an eye on the temperatures. Eventually it started in the top gear, kind of surging a little bit. Going up hills, it pegged at like 300 degrees, and then the check transmission light came on. Long story short, I've got some awesome friends, and we were able to conference call with an Allison technician directly, tell him what was going on, and he said, oh, you don't have a B500R. That is a 4-speed transmission, most likely the HT740, and that changes everything. So, 4th gear surging and reverse not engaging, they share the same clutch packs in this transmission, so they're either burned or slipping or something's going on. So when we were driving down the freeway in top gear, which we thought was 6th, but was actually 4th, it was slipping a little bit and creating tons of heat. So we baked the transmission fluid, and this older transmission doesn't have a method for storing codes, so we couldn't tell him exactly what was going on. But he said, okay, change your transmission fluid. If it's black and smells like a house fire, you gotta get that fluid out of there. He said it is possible for that clutch pack setup for reverse and 4th to be inoperable and the rest of the transmission worked just fine. So that's what we did. We changed the fluid. We drove the remainder of the trip, which I think wound up being about 8 hours, back to Portland in 3rd gear. That was 62 miles an hour, so not too bad. But yeah, in hindsight, everything makes a lot more sense now. And not having the engine retarder and a few other things kind of drastically changed what the operating temperature should have been in my mind and explained why we couldn't find any information out about this particular transmission. Because it was completely different. Anyways, we're getting things sorted out now. We got it back. And anyways, we'll just go back to the video.
We're at there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not at room temperature, but
So maybe a little more?
another 1/4 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe let it either run for a second, get warmed
Okay,
up, or
cool. The wind is trying to blow this over. At $58 a gallon, well, 62 plus tax. I don't want to spill that. Yeah.
Yeah, we used these legitimately earlier. All right, we are approximately 1.5 hours from Portland, almost midnight. Down here at this truck stop just out of Eugene, and just doing a little safety stop, getting some caffeine and stuff. We'll use the bathroom, and then I think we'll be good. Running this thing in third gear the whole time, 62 miles an hour max speed, but seems to be working great. We don't have reverse or fourth gear, but hey, who cares, right? One of those moments when you wake up in the morning and open the blinds, and you just remember that you bought a 40-foot bus, and it's parked out front, blocking the sun's rays from hitting the ground. Oh, man. What have I done? All right, it's, like I said, been a fantastic weekend. Had a few issues here and there, and yes, we do have to figure out the transmission stuff on this bus. But honestly, for the price I paid for it, which was $9,000, even if we have to spend another $5,000 on getting the transmission sorted out and getting a replacement, or paying to get it R&R'd and all that stuff, we're still well within margin for value of this thing. Obviously, it is an older bus. It's from 1994, so there's going to be a few little things, and some of the door seals have a little bit of rust, but the frame and everything's good. The basic systems on it work good. It drives good. The motor's got about 41,000 miles or so on the most recent rebuild. Overall, the entire coach has about 500,000 on it, somewhere a little bit over that. The guy I bought it from legitimately didn't know what was going on with the transmission. He drove this particular bus quite some distance and didn't have any issues with it. And he's going to be helping me out with the cost on getting things taken care of. So this wasn't one of those scam style situations. And oddly enough, it really wasn't an eBay listing. There's kind of some other stuff going on in the background. This bus has an interesting history. If you want to look it up, it's look up Inland Streamliner. It was some sort of company that was running between somewhere in California and Reno, I believe. But yeah, interesting story there. I kind of like stuff that has a history. Also, this is the bus when you look up 1994 MCID on Wikipedia. This is the one that the photo's for. But anyways, I got a lot of stuff to do. The next 30 days are going to be interesting. Getting moved out of this house, getting the bus set up, and doing all that. So no time to waste. I did film some other stuff yesterday. I'm going to continue today. Got an oil change done on this thing out here in the driveway, and I'll show you how I did that without crawling underneath it. And yeah, I think we're going to leave it at that. I think the video is about 30 minutes long at this point. So yeah, we're making progress. I'm super excited.